Welcome, family, on this beautiful, snowy, icy evening in the East Coast and throughout the world, throughout certain parts of the world here in the Americas. What's up? It's your brother King Simon right here on King Simon Presents Only Quality People. And we got a quality person coming up at the 9 o'clock hour. It is now 53 minutes after the hour approximately now 54 minutes after the hour, approximately 6 minutes before the top of the hour, right here on KSP TV Media. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's snugged in and everybody got their warmth. It goes, man, the heater in my house is going up and down in New York. So I got to keep on checking it until we call the heater man tomorrow. But everybody's fine. Family's fine. I hope all of your family's fine out there. How you doing? Let me straighten up this mic real quick. How y'all doing out there? If you could hear me, put the number one in the chat. If you could hear me, put the number one in the chat. I see. Big up to William Holmes in the building already. And we got a special show for you, of course. We got the one, the only return. Leah Lee returns, genealogist and entrepreneur from birthfamilysearch.org. Why genealogy will help you to learn more about yourself. That's what we got coming up. Also want to let everybody know that the Raw Ministry of Numerovation presents Developing Your Spiritual Militancy. We're gonna be breaking down the numbers of those words right there, spiritual militancy. And do me a favor, please like, subscribe, and share. This is gonna be very important. Those that are into genealogy and lineage and want to find out lineage about their family and all that good stuff, this sister can help you. I've had her on before, so I can't wait to make sure we have her on again. And her information is pinned to the top of the chat. The business number is right there, 267-304-3959. That's 267-304-3959. Also, you could also email at admin@birthfamilysearch.org or go to the website. That's birthfamilysearch.org. If you're an adoptee and you want to find out more about your family lineage and all your family genealogy, she can help you with that. Also, just want to remind everybody, the party is still going to be happening. Yes, my birthday party and event. We're going to be doing a thing called Activating Our Sacred Genius, featuring Sister Kafunya Ife, who will be sharing the sound bowl aspect. Priestess Yendes, who will be coming from her comedic, but also her new book we're going to expose on that day. We're going to talk briefly about that new book that's going to come out, and it's about to come out very soon. Of course, yours truly, King Simon, will be there. And the one, the only Joshua Sarah, the mathematician, he will be in the building sharing the mathematics of balance about the human nature. And that's happening on Friday, January 30th. Go and get your tickets, scan the QR code, or go to my Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. Or if you take a snapshot of this picture right here, just bring it to the door. And guess what? You're in for a discount price. All right. Just bring it to the door. You'll be in for a discount price. Also, if you're into the martial arts, we've got a few martial arts things coming up. We'll make sure we talk about that. Of course. And let me see which one I want to promote first. Okay, we got the comedic martial arts coming up in the Bronx. If you want to find out more information about that, happened on February the 8th. Come on out. In Manhattan, the Deadly Arts of Survival Martial Arts Seminar coming up on March the 8th. If you want to get in contact, that number right there if you want to be there also. In April, we got the Day with the Masters Martial Arts Seminar in Brooklyn on April the 4th. If you want to find out more about that, make sure you call that number right there. And if you are in Long Beach, California, my sister, Professor Zahalia, will be doing her first annual Raw Life Defense Seminar. That's going to be big. I'm trying to make it out there also. And in the month of February, we got a special interview happening right here. Y'all remember the ladies of the women of Brewster Place? Do you remember the women of Brewster Place? Do you remember New Jack City? Do you remember? This sister was also noted as one of the 200 women that have changed the world in the Essence magazine. We're going to have the one, the only Phyllis Yvonne Stickney right here on today's Consciousness in the Conscious Community, because she's been a part of it on February the 10th. You see that number right down the bottom. February 10th, we have the one, the only Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. And she is actually, matter of fact, I will be in Dallas trying to confirm everything. I'll be in Dallas, Texas on February the 14th. And Phyllis Yvonne Stickney is going to be doing a extraordinary comedy show for 2 nights in New York City over there where the funny resides at 221 West 44th Street in Money Making Manhattan, and it's called Black Women in Comedy Laugh Fest. So you want to be there, starring the one, the only Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. That's right. And hosted by a beautiful sister named Phoenix Jackson. So make sure you get your tickets right there on the bottom. You see it, you see it, you see it. I want to see y'all in the place because I'm going to be there also. Those who want to book a session with me up to the day, the 31st, January 31st, I have a 50% discount for the 30-minute session. People are already booking sessions. So I got 2 sessions that I'm doing tomorrow. So if you want to book, come on. From January 21st to January 31st, you get to talk to me directly in a 30-minute session. So please, please, please make sure you book. Text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And remember, get all my books on Amazon. And if you want to advertise on my platform, please do so in any way, anyhow you can. Big up to Nicholas Brooklyn. Big up to Green Studio NYC. Big up to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Also, one of the barbers in the business. And of course, this is how we do it right here on King Simon Present. And don't forget the big thing that's coming up. Make sure you go to my Linktree/King Simon the Numerovator to keep up with MUMS, the Metaphysical Underground Music Social, or we could call it the Metaphysical Urban Music Social. That's how we're going to deal with it. It's called a code party. You got to have a code to get in, and vendors will be all throughout the business, but we're doing presentations, all of that. We're even going to have a date night. We're going to have the whole dating, fast speed dating and all that stuff. Different months because it's going to be a monthly thing. So, all right, without further ado, the sister that I got coming up for you, my goodness, she's been up here before. And she's a wonderful soul. I've known her mom and her dad. I won't even talk on that. But this sister here, not only Leah Lee, has been a member of Ancestry since 2005, but had a passion for genealogy since 1997. Leah would help people to build their trees and had a niche for it. And she started as a volunteer and an indexer for FamilySearch.org and later for Ancestry.com over 20 years ago. And Ancestry began selling DNA kits as she was gifted with a natural ability to read the DNA matches and help others with over hundreds of reunions to date, some even making local news. So without further ado, we want to welcome right here live for you, the one, the only Leah Lee in the building. Let's give her a well-deserved round of applause right here. What's up?
How are you doing?
She said, how are you doing?
It would be right before everything. I'm like, oh crap.
Sounded like Wendy Williams up in this piece. How you doing?
How's everything? I'm doing good. I cannot complain. Everything is good.
Good. How's the family? Everybody good? Good.
Everybody is good. Getting big. Time is moving fast. So
Lord have
I'm
mercy.
trying to catch up.
Big things going on, my sister, man. I know you've been on a hiatus for a while and you haven't been with me in a while. So I'm glad things are doing what you gotta do. How's the weather over there? How's everything treating you over there?
It's bad.
You should not be doing the weather report.
Right. That's the truth. I'm like, you don't want to go outside. Point blank, period. You do not want to go outside here.
I can see you in the weather forecast right now. It's bad. You niggas need to stay inside the house.
Stay inside. Yes. The snow, I mean, it's been snowing since yesterday. It hasn't stopped.
I see people making
it's pretty high.
I see people making snow angels and all that. I'm like, go ahead.
I don't like the cold, so I'm staying my butt right where it's warm.
Hilarious. Like I said, I will not have you do the news.
Nope. I'm looking at people out the window like, okay.
About 10 years ago, I was always in Florida around this time, man. I was not in this cold. No.
You had it good.
No. So Man, so there's a lot going on where people are now looking to find their genealogy, their lineage,
Hmm.
their this, their that. Some of them are asking their grandmama, their granddaddy. People
Right.
could hardly have they could hardly have remember they have Alzheimer's, they got dementia, and you try to ask them where they come from.
Right.
And so how's it been going on that end about with the whole birth family search? How's that been going?
It's been going pretty good. You have a lot of people that are now taking their test, of course, because the prices has dropped dramatically as well.
Right, right.
Um, I always say the biggest time of the year is during the holidays. It seems like people always want to connect with family members and get answers to what they don't know. And oral history is always good, but it's not always exact.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
so I always tell people that mom don't know what her daughter was doing. So
And great grandma might not remember so much.
right, right.
So,
She done gave you the wrong name.
but I realize that people are starting to really just, ask their parents. At least that's a beginning.
Yeah,
You can
that's the
say ask
beginning.
their parents, ask their grandparents and all that, and find out what's the heck is happening and get some names.
Right,
Even if you can't get
right,
some pictures, you get some names. I know I got a whole list of names from both my mother's side and my father's side, especially in the Caribbeans in Jamaica. And I got a whole list
right.
of names. So I was like, whoa. And they don't have no pictures, none.
Neighbors, man.
They
You
was
know, of
taking,
course, when you come from the islands and things
yeah.
like that, you'd be surprised what they have in archives.
Oh, yes. I gotta go and check that
You
out.
have to go to the archives.
Right, right. And that's where a lot of the secrets might be held, right?
Yes, for sure.
So now you haven't been on in a while, but let people know, how did you get into this and why? Did it start with your family, your mother's side, your father's side? How did that work first?
It started off with me trying to dig into the truth of knowing who I am, where I really came from.
Okay.
Um, and of course, as always, I tell people oral history may not be exact. Me trying to build my family tree literally on a cardboard piece of paper and trying to get every information that I could from my mother.
Mm,
um, and at the same time, not knowing too much about who her biological father was. I mean, she had a name, but the story was what was given to her, and just us trying to figure it all out.
right, right, right.
um, and then of course more on my dad's side, trying to
Mm,
make everything make sense on that side as well.
right,
So it
right.
took me some years, but I got to the bottom of it.
Your dad was very good at that. I'm not gonna mention his name. That's nobody business but your own. But your dad, I remember in certain things that we used to talk about back in the day, he used to have his breakdown in
Right,
certain places.
right, right.
And
Yeah.
did you find that to be relevant and real from your perspective?
No.
Hilarious.
I mean, are we going to be honest?
Yeah.
No. A
Okay.
lot of what he gave was not exact.
Okay.
When
Okay.
I started digging into my family tree a little bit deeper, I
Right.
started finding, aunts that I didn't know existed.
Wow.
And, we wound up building a connection, and I was able to get more information from her.
Right.
And it just led me on a whole different path to keep digging.
Right, 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 and that's good. I'm glad that you kept digging because, for first of all, let's going a little bit to the next level. What do you think about African Ancestry, 23andMe, and others? What do you think about these different organizations that
Um,
are going?
I tell people, if you could test with all companies, definitely do that, because it's interestingly enough, just recently I helped a woman find out, well, she didn't know that her biological father was not her, the dad who raised her was not her biological father. So that's where it started with her case.
Oh, wow.
And then come to find out that her sister and her didn't have the same mother. So we started digging a little bit further into her tree. And here I am almost 10 years later. We uploaded her DNA to GEDmatch years ago.
Hmm.
And then years later, 10 years later, she gets a hit saying that, there's a John Doe in her family and they need help for her to figure out who that John Doe is.
Right.
They're cracking a lot of, old cases. They're pulling them out of out of archives to
Hmm.
break a lot of these cases. I mean, some of them going as far back as 30 years.
Wow.
And then of course they're, the people who thought they got away with it didn't get away with it.
You talking about criminal cases?
Criminal cases.
Dang.
criminal cases. So
Wow.
that's opening a lot of doors. And I tell people, when you upload it to GEDMAT, just know that it is available. I believe it's a company called Ortham. They
Mhm.
use the DNA and they start doing forensic genealogy, and they
Right.
backtrace from your DNA all the way up to your 10th cousin. So I hate when people sit up there and they're like, "Oh, I'm not testing." You don't have to test. As long as one of your 10th cousins, and believe me, most people don't know their 10th cousins,
Mm.
once one of them tests, your DNA is already on file.
Mm. Because a lot of people already is in the database.
Because here, let's dig a little bit deeper.
Let's go.
If one of my 10th cousin tested, what are the chances that we share the same ancestors?
Mm.
We do.
Big
So
chance.
all they got to do is just keep going up that tree from one side. Now let's find a 10th cousin on the other side, and the
Wow.
hit is right there. There's my DNA on file.
Because many people are afraid to go and take their DNA because they're hearing about people stealing and selling DNA, different companies. Have
Right.
you heard about that too? But people,
Of course.
okay, got
You have a lot of these people who are saying that they're selling the DNA for medical purposes and for
right,
into pharmaceutical companies, and I wouldn't be surprised.
of course.
I would not be surprised.
Mm.
Um, but either way, like I tell people, you drink out of a cup and you throw it in the trash anyway. So what do you think happens with your DNA there? Anybody can take your DNA. As a
Got
matter of fact, that's how they caught the Golden State Killer.
what? That's how they caught the killer. That's how they
So
caught the
they
killer.
they they tracked him for a while,
Oh.
and they caught him through a hit
Mhm.
on through his DNA through another family member, and they kept watching him for a while. Sure enough, he drank from a cup and threw a cup or a can or something in the trash, and they took that DNA and they were able to figure out of which of the siblings it was, and it was him.
Wow, I got caught out there.
Almost got away with it all these years ago. Almost.
Man, and I know you've had some testimonials also from what. Before I get into my other questions that I already got pinned in, what were some of the most fantastic testimonies did you get? At least one or two of them. What was it that you really felt good about that came through with it? You remember at least one. At least
Yeah. Um, I was able. Oh, yikes! I can't mention that one.
okay.
Um, but I was able to help one of my husband's cousin reunite to his own biological family.
Mm.
Um, I test all my family members. I can't help it. And sure enough, his DNA came up as a hit, and he was looking for his family member, and I was able to walk to his mother's house, and
Wow.
able to confirm that that was the DNA connection. Um,
Was there a tear jerking moment? Was there a cry?
it was just like that moment where the person
Yeah.
kind of buckles because they can't even
Yes.
stand anymore. It's like the shock of
Wow.
it all.
Wow.
Um,
That's
but yeah,
powerful.
that's one of my, to me, still today. It was like, I guess because it was so close to me too,
Yeah.
the most case that I really, really was able to connect with. I do have another case that I was able to connect with as well. And it was a lady who, she was, as a matter of fact, I believe I had her on your show. She
Okay.
was looking for her biological
Yes.
father, and it took us a minute,
Yes.
but it, I look back, like she always posts pictures on Facebook, and those are the moments where it's like, wow, this feels
Right.
good.
Right.
You see what you have done for people so many years later, and just for them to be able to connect with their biological families is just, it's touching for me.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's very important. Now, as a for beginners, let's go to beginners. For beginners, what exactly does a genealogist do, and what are the biggest misconception about genealogy?
The first thing that a genealogist does is we try to, so you have a lot, I'll start from there. You have
Yeah.
a lot of people who are like, so my mom told me that my
Mhm.
dad is John Doe and I'm looking for him.
Mm.
Those are like the biggest case. And I'm always like, no, let's stop. I understand what your mother told you, but
Right.
how about we start at square one with a
Mm.
DNA test?
Mhm.
Because a DNA test will not lie. Not saying your mother did, but we don't know what kind of night she might have had,
Right. Right.
and maybe names got crossed. So let's just make sure we don't bother the wrong family. That at least with this DNA match, I know I'm headed towards the right path.
Right.
I
Right.
have them take the DNA test, and from that DNA test, I look at all of their DNA matches. Those
Right.
are everybody who share the same DNA with you, whether it's paternal or maternal. It's an autosomal DNA test on Ancestry and 23andMe. So you have a lot of people who are like, oh, well, it only tests mother side or only tests father side. No, this is an autosomal DNA.
Right.
It does maternal and paternal. You
Mm.
will get hits from 10th cousins, eighth cousins, fourth cousins, even as close as half siblings that you might have not even known existed.
Mm. Oh,
And
that
from then on, I build your mirror tree, and that's how I'm able to put your full tree on display pretty much for you.
now, if people, let's say people don't know very much about their family history, where should they start?
DNA test.
Go right to the
You
DNA. Yeah.
don't have to know who your parents are. I
Mm.
can help you figure out who you are.
Mm.
That DNA test is going to connect me to someone who knows something. I can look at your DNA test and based on all of your cousins, build a tree that's going to tell me who your parents are, who your grandparents are, and so forth. For me, I have been so lucky that once I started building my own family tree, I was able to get photos of my fifth great grandparents.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Lived in the 1700s, literally.
Wow.
Actual photos of them.
Right here in the Americas.
Right here in Americas. Yes.
Mm. So somebody just asked in the chat, can you explain the process of how much the test? How much is the test? Yeah.
Yes. So the process is literally a spit test. I may
That's it.
have a kid. It's a spit test.
Mm.
Hold on.
Uh-oh. She gonna get the kit, family.
So this is probably a very old kit, but
Right.
Ancestry gives you a kit and it comes with instructions
Hmm.
and it literally tells you all you got to do is spit in this leaf. First you activate the kit
Right.
to the account. You spit in a little tube. You drop it in the tube and you shake it up until you hear a click and then you literally put it in a self-addressed stamp. It comes in this little, there's
Okay.
nothing in here now. And you ship it off.
Right.
It used to take Ancestry almost 3 months, close to, for results. Now you get your result in less than a month. The
Wow.
cost can range anywhere from $40 to $100. I always tell people catch Ancestry when they are on sale. When they are on sale, you can run away with a kit for $40.
Mm. Wow. That's deep.
And that's that. And I mean, that's pretty good because back then kits was $100.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
then it was something like $10, $15 for the shipping cost.
But I remember paying African ancestry like 200 something dollars. What the
They're
heck?
about $300. Yes, they are.
Yes. Now,
Yes.
how valid is the connection to Africa? Now, Gina is just on a friend of mine's show just tonight. I didn't even know she was going
Okay.
to be on until Gina Page, another beautiful melanated woman that's doing it and through African ancestry. But how valuable is that African connection to people in Americas, or were we just already here per se, or did they have that type of connection with people in Africa from your
So
perspective?
when you talk about up to, let's just say, I don't know, maybe, I mean, let's talk about how far back our ancestry go and how many ancestors are connected, let's just say up until what we consider as
Right,
slavery.
right.
Um that can be both sides. So it could
Mm,
be my mother's side could have already been here, but my father's side could have came from Africa or
okay,
migrated, however which way that we think they came here. I always tell people, yes, African ancestry, what they do is they let you know the tribe of Africa that your family come from. So they might say your family comes from the Yoruba tribe or
right.
different tribes in Africa. The thing is, you know every DNA test gives you something different. So even when you go to 23andMe, 23andMe deals more with the health aspects of it.
Okay.
So it'll tell you, hey, in your DNA, you may have a family that has, I don't know, something like it's something so simple. It's like something like more airwax than someone of this ancestry. Like that's how detailed in DNA they are. They'll say, your eye color based on your DNA test, majority of the people with this strand of DNA, eye color is brown.
Hmm.
testing for something like high blood pressure is very common with people with this strand
Mm,
of DNA. So they
mm.
go very much into medical than they do like ancestry, going to literally finding your roots, finding your DNA,
So
finding your origin.
if you do
Mhm.
trace back and find that this is a regular thing that happens that shows up in that family, can that particular person reverse the effects of it? Like diabetes might show up heavily, and can they reverse since they can catch it? Now they know it. They can catch it.
Yes, I
Oh,
think so. I think
that's what I
so.
feel too. Yeah,
I think changing your diet is very important.
of course.
Um, just taking care of your health. If you know that your family, it seems like everybody in your family had high blood pressure, then why would you go and, do everything that you know that can cause high blood pressure?
No, because let me tell you, some people will just blame it on the family. It run in my family. I remember Reverend Ike speaking about that. He said you need to run that shit out.
I agree. I agree.
Reverend Ike was like,
That's like, you always have the people like, oh, well, everybody in my family is big boned. And I'm like, there's no such thing as big bone, but you can reverse that. But okay.
there's no such thing as a fat skeleton.
Not at all. Not at all. And I'm saying that from a medical term. Not at all.
Not at all. So now what role do census records, church records, and immigration documents play in tracing people's lineage?
Huge.
Mm,
Huge. Even church records, I always tell people, you know it's something as simple as a name, you
mm,
know and who they might have came with and things like that. Census, I rely on census records so much.
mm.
And
Wow.
the census records come out every 10 years, but the census records will tell you everyone who lived in that household and how old they were, and things like that. So the last census record that came out was the 1940s.
Hmm.
So we have another one, probably won't come out for another 6 or 7 years. But if your ancestors was, say, let's born before 1940s, and back then your family was usually your neighbors. And
Mm,
so a lot of times if I'm looking for clues, I usually go through the entire census record because I need to see everybody in that entire neighborhood and see who matches certain surnames.
mm.
And then usually if they do, I'm like, that might have been a sibling. And then I start doing back tracing on that person to get the answers that I'm looking for.
Wow, you really get it in too. My
Yeah,
goodness.
it's take time, but I tell people it's worth it. It's worth it.
Family, we are here with our beautiful sister Leah Lee in the building, and she's our guest genealogist and entrepreneur. Make sure she's about business now. Stop playing. Uh, Make sure you contact her via her business number at 267-304-3959. Also, there's an email right there, but do the number because the email going through its ups and downs. But you can go to the website and hit up birthfamilysearch.org. That's birthfamilysearch.org. You're more than welcome to put a question in the chat like the brother did. And there's a few people that's still coming on Facebook and also here on YouTube. I didn't do Instagram. I forgot to do Instagram. Another question I have now, we spoke about oral history and family stories as far as written records. Now, can some of the stories be real, so to speak?
Oh,
Some of the
for
stories that
sure.
we pass down, and how important is that to at least keep a record of that?
So you had a lot of family members who kept old Bibles.
Right.
And
Yes.
in those old Bibles, they had names of their children and grandchildren that they would keep. Not sure why in a Bible. I guess they figured that the family Bible would continuously get passed down
Yes.
generations to generations, generations. And as a matter of fact, what's interesting about that is that there's a group on Facebook that literally finds old Bibles with informations in it, and they make sure that they give it back to the family that it actually belongs to. I
Mm,
find that group very, very interesting. But oral history is extremely important,
okay.
because not all of it is wrong. A lot
Right.
of it is correct. Of course, if your families is from a small family and small town, you most likely know somebody who knows the information on a family.
Mm,
If they came from a large family, most likely they populated the town and people are going to know who that family is.
right. Right. So I found that with my last name, where my grandfather come from, that whole town was called Hamilton Town. In
Mm.
Hamilton Town. So that's crazy.
Did
And
you
he came
dig?
from that part of St. Mary, Jamaica, Hamilton Town.
Interesting.
That was
Okay.
so it must be somebody who owned the Hamiltons
I,
that
I
named
was I didn't want to say that, but I was gonna say, did you dig
oh,
a
you
little
can
bit
say
further
that. But
into the
he had
owners?
Yeah, exactly. The owners, right, of that town that
Right.
came over from England and all them places that
Yes,
owned,
yes.
more the Maroons and the Tainos over there. So I understood. So I was like, wow. So when I found that out, I was like, oh man, this is interesting. Because I asked my mother. My mother don't remember none of that stuff. So she's like, really, I can't remember. I can't. I was like, okay, you can't remember.
Right.
So what now? What are some of the common surprises people discover when researching their family tree?
That their father is not their father. That's the most that is the most common shocks that people get. Um
That's
their
terrible.
test, it
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on which way you look at it. They will test and they're like, I tested, but I don't understand how to read this because nobody on my match looked familiar.
Right, right,
And
right,
I'm
right,
usually like, and how sure are you that your biological father is your father? Well, my
right.
mother told me it was my father. He's been there all my life. Okay, well, surprise is
Surprise!
that there's a biological father that you may not have met.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so that is usually the case. That
What
is
now?
the most common shocks that people get.
What are their facial expressions when they find this out?
I most of them need time
Right, right, right,
because it's like trying to figure it all out, or some of them is like their parents could be deceased, so it's like they're left with unanswered questions,
right.
them trying to figure out who these people are and trying to figure out how do they even introduce themselves to this new family, if they're even wanted, if they even know about them. Like they just have so many questions.
Wow. Wow. That must be traumatic for a lot of people too, man. That must be
Yeah.
very traumatic.
Oh, one lady needed therapy.
No, really.
Yes, yes, she did.
Oh
She did.
no. Do you still check up on her and make sure she all right? At least do you check up on these people?
We kind of lost touch with each other, but for her, it was as crazy as it is, her family was from, I want to say, South Carolina or North Carolina, and she tested on ancestry because shouldn't say her biological mother, but she already knew who her mother was, but her mother passed away when she was 2 years old. But she did not know who her biological father was. Her grandmother raised her. And when she tested on ancestry, I kept sending her, do you know these photos of these people? And come to find out that she wound up having a child by her first cousin because she didn't know who her biological father was.
Wow. Wow. Damn. That's crazy.
Yep.
I guess this question that I have for you is about when certain records are destroyed intentionally. How do you find out more about that person, especially in African, Caribbean, and indigenous lineage? How do you find out? How does it all work if it's been destroyed? If all their records has been destroyed?
So I tell people a lot of times you find um a lot of times they already scanned the records in
Mm,
somewhere into a film or something, and so a lot of times you may have to go to archives to pull them. I mean, they have most townships or cities, they have an archive office that you can go to, or you can always go to the archive office in Washington, DC. They hold a large sum of records, and it's pretty much everything you're looking for, from military draft records to marriage certificates, death certificates. um, and the Mormons are the ones who really kept the records on everything and everybody.
really?
Yes, those are the Latter Day Saints. Those are
Yes,
the
yes,
ones
yes,
that
yes, yes,
own.
yes.
They own that website. I'm about to tell you. Bert, familysearch.org. Family Search.
Oh, you know.
Familysearch.org.
Were you with
That's the
them
Latter
before?
Day
You worked
Saints.
with them before?
I have done work for them.
Yeah, because
Yes, I
it's on your
have.
bio here. It's on your bio.
Yes.
Yes,
So
yes.
I used to do a lot of indexing for them. And
Oh,
so this was during a time when I guess internet was, well, the internet definitely was not to the point that it is now.
right.
They would have certain amount of people and they would pull up, we'd look at actual census record that is, and we'd have to type it in so that it becomes what it is today, now electronic, where
Right.
a person can type in, I'm looking for Susie Jane, and she pops up in Google as a, hey, you may know. And not only that, they've upgraded their website so much now to the point where now they have actual trees that people can edit and add on and things like that, where back then they didn't have that.
Wow. 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 That's crazy. So a lot of the you would say a lot of the white. churches would have a lot of genealogy there. A lot of these
Even on Black people,
on black
yes.
people, yes, even on black people, because they
Yes.
kept a lot of the records.
Yes,
Right.
they did.
Wow. Damn, that's crazy. That is something else. And going back now, what mistakes do beginners make that slow down or derail their research?
I always say beginners make the biggest mistake by reaching out to people first before having
Mm,
the answers or before investigating their own DNA first. Like
mm,
just reaching out to somebody and saying, "Hey, I see that we're a match. Can you help me?" Most people are drawn back from that. They're like, you know, they don't know you for one.
right,
If anything, come to them with some type of answers. Hi, my name is, my parents were,
right,
I'm looking for answers on, I was born here, my grandparents were, and then they'll be more likely to help you because you're sharing some type of information with them that they might just be familiar with or that they can ask someone else for. So
mm,
if I knew, if I didn't know of a cousin, let's say, but yet I might have known a great aunt with a certain name, and you just mentioned that great aunt's name, I know I can go to my grandmother or somebody and say, "Hey, give me information on this and that person." Someone's asking.
right. Wow, that's it. Man, there's a lot that comes to with a lot of this that's going
It
on.
does.
And so, how many people do you deal with monthly or yearly?
I used to try to do at least 50 cases
Hmm.
a year.
Hmm.
Luckily for me, I have search angels in my group, and
Right.
everybody, we all just take on cases as they come through our group. Um, so it's anything from people who just need answers or just looking for siblings,
Mm,
um, adoptees, people that just took Ancestry or 23andMe and they just need answers. They want to know what they're looking at when they're looking at the centimorgans of their DNA.
right.
Um, so yeah, I still try to do at least 50 a year.
Okay. So from your perspective and the others that work around you, what are some of the responsibilities when uncovering sensitive and painful family truths? How do you handle it? How do you deal with it? And present it to them when you know it's painful and might hurt everybody.
So the thing is with me, I'm just so blunt. I don't, there's no tree for me to hide behind. Like I have to give it to you the way I see it.
Right, raw. Right,
Um, yes,
right.
because I feel like half of the people, when you're searching for answers, you don't want anybody who's gonna just, sugarcoat anything for you.
True. That's true.
It's like, look, this is what it is, this is who it is, and you give it to them that way, and I think that they respect you for that.
Mm,
Um,
mm.
it's, yeah, I mean, I've had to tell people like flat out, like, hey, I found your dad and he's a drunk. You know what I mean? So
Homeless.
stuff like that. Oh yeah. So it's, oh yeah, yeah.
What? Really?
Literally, yes, yes. It's like
Wow.
he's dropped off the planet Earth, but somehow I found him. I don't
What?
know if you want to move forward with this, but if you do, here's his contact. You do what you will with it. Oh,
And
for
when they,
sure.
and when they usually find them, what is something you ever heard about what happens when it happens?
Yeah, I've had some disappointments, and
Oh,
it's like, I met him and he ain't, and
oh no.
it's like, but then again, you also hear the good stories. It's like I met him, I spent time with him, we spend holidays together. You know what I mean? So you're gonna get the good and the bad with it regardless. You're
You
gonna
know,
get the good and the bad with it.
I was watching Queen's Flip, and Queen's Flip actually took a friend of his that haven't seen their father in so long, and it just looked so nonchalant, like they didn't even couldn't even hug each other until they was old
Really
to hug each other. I mean, it's not like she didn't know where he was. It's just that it was just so
awkward.
long, and and
Right.
it could be awkward. It was very awkward, yeah. And I was like, wow, that could be because everybody noticed the body language between them and all that. It's just,
Right.
and how do we deal with that? I mean, sometimes keeping it raw is just exactly what he did. He kept it raw and say, "Yo, y'all didn't even hug each other. Y'all all right? What's going on?"
Wow.
And
Right.
that is, I think, very important. So, I'm not going to keep you here too long, but one of the last things I would like to ask is, what advice would you give someone who wants to preserve their family history for future generations, at least beyond just building a family tree?
Beyond building a family tree is making connections with
Okay.
other family members.
Mm,
Yes, you're going to always find, those apples that fall from the tree that may not be, right,
right.
but you still connect with them. they might have information, or their parents may have information about your family that you may not know.
Right. Right.
Definitely, I always tell people, document your family tree somewhere. It
Mm,
doesn't have to be on paper. You could use a software these days, build a website. I mean, these days people build blog sites and build their family tree and their information and things like that in there. I
right.
mean, because your family is big.
Yeah.
So you never want to have an opportunity, you never want to have a moment where you have family members that are asking questions and you don't know. Because
Right.
as crazy as it is, when they get to high school, I believe some of their coursework is building a family tree.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
And so I've had like nieces and they're like, "Oh, my mom told me to call you because you have my family tree." And I'm like, "Here's a link to Ancestry. There you go. Everything you need is right there." You know? So build keeping that family history, because let's just say I might die tomorrow.
Right. Right.
20 years from now, my family can go on Ancestry and they'll be able to see that I've built an entire tree out for them.
Wow. Wow. I mean, but I know this was the last question, but something just popped in my head.
No, keep going. I'm good.
I didn't want to. I know you got children and family you got to deal with. I
It's
understand.
fine.
You know, with your family, because certain people had a lot of children, as you know. How
Right.
is that impactful to you and those others too? Because things has happened, ups and downs. People have lost their lives,
Right.
gained lives, all that kind of stuff. What has happened? What's that impact from you and your other family members?
So the funny thing is, I used to be afraid to tell people how many siblings I had. Because, I always tell people the first thing they think is I'm lying, for
Yeah,
one.
exactly.
Like, you got how many? Yeah, right. It's impossible. That's what I always hear.
Impossible.
Impossible. And so these days I get to the point I don't even care. You want to know? Here's how many I have. Do with it whatever you will.
Yo,
But the crazy thing about it that I think about is the amount of siblings I have.
right.
But let's think a little bit deeper,
What's that?
because now my oldest children, or my oldest child, and families, and along with all my siblings,
Right.
their children are now having children,
Yeah,
which means that now their children are now having children.
that's right.
Do you realize how big of a population my family
Yeah,
has within the United States alone?
from one person.
Yeah, literally. So that's the level that I think about it on, because I'm like,
Dang.
here we are, like, I mean, let's realistic. I mean, talk about from like my oldest siblings. I mean, they're grandparents now. They're great grandparents.
That's right.
Like, these children will have to know where they come from and how they all connect to one another.
They might run into each other and fall in love with each other. We don't.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I spoke to one of your brothers the other day, well, 2 weeks ago. So he's my brother, man. We know each other since we was children. So since we was teenagers. So it's
Right.
all the time. But yeah, and it's deep because I know that's going to be very interesting when people
It
really
is.
get it, because there's a lot. Now, would you say that was irresponsible of that particular person, or was that good, so to speak?
It depends on a person that views it.
Oh,
Um
good.
Irresponsible in so many ways if you can't be there to explain to
Mm,
people why.
mm,
Um
that part.
Responsible, where would I say that was responsible? I mean, unless you're one of those people that just like Nick Cannon, you just want to have kids all over the planet, then that's different. I probably shouldn't have said that.
He got 12
But
tribes.
yeah, like, you really want to leave a legacy behind, and children and money, and
He
you
got it.
believe in this whole Egyptian culture of breeding within your own, then
Wow.
that's different.
Wow.
But if you're irresponsible, you're just like throwing children in this world and tell them to fend for themselves, yeah, that's very irresponsible.
Right, 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 right. Nick he practiced the Hebrew faith, went down that road
Yeah.
one time too. Yo, Leah, I can't, I don't know. But I want to thank you so much for just coming on and showing love,
No
man.
problem.
I know people are going to reach out to you because they have reached out to you one time when you've done my show, and I think people
Yes.
are now looking for answers, whether it's through their lineage or, and sometimes again, religious organizations are promoting fear of DNA
Mm-hmm.
testing and all that. But this is the time now. We're in the age of technology. It can happen.
Right.
You can find it. I think you
And
explained a lot. Go ahead.
and I always tell people, like, you always have the people that's like afraid. They're like, oh no, I don't want to, if you have that one cousin who belongs in jail, you could be that person that really solves a case. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And let's be for real. It's a lot of people who, we've kept things quiet because of the whole, you don't tell your family secrets type of stuff.
Right.
No, it's time.
It's
It's
time.
time.
Yeah, this is the time. This is time. Well, Leah, thank you very much for coming on and spreading, showing me some love.
You
Let me give
welcome.
you
You
a round of
welcome.
applause. Let me give you a round of applause before you get on out of here. Anything you want people to think of? Anything you want to leave with anybody?
I mean, hey, they can always reach out to me. I'm always happy to help.
Yes, please, family. If you know anybody that needs help finding family, adoptees, people that have been adopted, because I know you've dealt with a lot of adopted people too, right?
Yes.
Adopted.
Yes.
How scary is that? That one last question. How scary is that dealing with adopted people? Because Les Brown was adopted, a few other people were adopted in the celebrity world. How
Yes.
scary is that? Finding somebody,
It's not scary at all. I think for me, it's more once they come to the realization that they actually belong to someone,
right?
that gives them a different mindset, because most of them, they're out there in the world. They don't know anybody who look like them, or they just don't know where they belong.
Right,
And
right.
so to place them somewhere with someone and for them to finally get answers, I think for me that's the best thing.
Good to get the answers. That's
Yes.
important. And so you're doing
You
you're
know,
doing
you know that's saying you don't know where you're going unless you know where you came from.
where you came from. So you're doing the
Very
Lord's
true.
work. You're doing the Lord's work.
I guess I am. I guess I am.
Because even in the Bible, it promotes genealogy. Even in the Quran, it promotes genealogy. So
Really?
remember, remember,
Well, yeah.
remember, because we used to study the scriptures back in the day. So even in the book of Luke, they always know who begat
Right.
who begat
You're
who.
right.
They knew their lineage all the way to Adam. So
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in the prophet of Muhammad, it was the silsila of the prophet, the whole
Right.
genealogy of the prophet. So yeah, that's very
That is
important.
very true. It
That's
is
very
very
important.
important. And I just wish that more people would run to it versus run away from it. And it's
Right,
always us that run from it.
right.
Because we listen to people. Try it yourself. Get the answers for yourself. If not for yourself, do it for your generations to follow.
Man, yeah, that was it. That's the last word. Thank you so much. My sister, you be safe. Have a great evening. Be warm out there and take care of that family. Make
I'm not
sure
going out.
I know
All
you.
right.
All right, one love. All right, thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Take care. Thank you.
All right, peace
Bye.
and love. That's right, man. That's our dear sister Leah Lee. She's doing her thing, man. Y'all make sure y'all support her. That birdfamilysearch.org. That's birdfamilysearch.org. The number is 267-304-3959. That's 267-304-3959. If you know somebody that's looking to find out more about their family, if they've been adopted or any way, please contact our sister at birdfamilysearch.org. That's birdfamilysearch.org. You can make a small donation, probably of what, $40-$50 to go and get it done. But they do accept donations at their website. And matter of fact, I do have the website. I should have showed the website while we was on, but I do have the website. Let me show that website while we're here. Okay, there it is. This is the website. Of course, you see Leah right here. This is her right there. So once you go to that section right there, hold on one second. Once you go to that section about, and you scroll down, you will find her picture right there. How to donate, what it is. They're amazing search angels. They call themselves search angels. So you have Leah, you have Nikki, you have Tracy. So go and check them out, and whoever you prefer to go to. They got testimonials in there. They got people with master's degree with psychology in there. Again, they got testimonials. So if you want to find out and read some of the testimonials inside of here with Kyla Moore, H. Lumpkin, and a few other people, look at that. They got people like T. Samuels, Wesley S., R.D., Mandy Moore, a few testimonials, some great testimonials. Sheila is also giving testimonials on here. So they got all of that going on this beautiful website. And make sure you go and check that out, man, once you get a chance, because sister's doing great work. And that's why I brought her on again. This will probably be her third time. I'm going to clip up the video, of course, with some great clips. Again, contact numbers right here on the bottom, the email and the website. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Remember, everything you want to find out is on the other side of fear. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. False expectation appearing real, whatever you want to call it. All right. So, family, this has been a good time, man. Want to remind everybody tomorrow I will be teaching on this subject from a numerical perspective. The Raw Ministry of Numerovation presents Developing Your Spiritual Militancy, okay, by King Simon Kweku Dada. Of course, we're going to do it hard. Make sure you donate to the channel also. You see it scrolling right there at the bottom. Make sure you donate to the channel, PayPal, Venmo, Chime, and also Cash App. If this means anything that is worth anything to you, please support the channel. And if you can't do that, then please, by all means, book a session. Get to talk to me. I got a 50% discount just for my birthday because we're in the Aquarian season. My birthday is coming up February 1st. We're doing a nice little party and lecture and presentation. You know, sometimes I used to do, back in the day, I used to just do parties. This time I'm doing a presentation, an educational presentation, metaphysical presentation, and a party after. So those that paid for that lecture can stay for the party, get some cake and get some vegan wine and all that good stuff. I think Coquito is coming over there. I think Cindy is coming through with the Coquito, and that's a great substitute for Bailey's. You can get it's a plant-based product. But if you want to book a session before January 31st, please text me your full name and date of birth, and please take advantage of this discount. Don't play. Take advantage of this discount by taking to find out what's going on in the year that we're in for you, or the years to come, or the months to come, if you want, depending on your question, your health. We can go down health, business, whatever. We can do. I can show you how your numbers match up with certain businesses and all that, what you need to do, how you need to formulate, especially if you tell me what business you're in. I'll show you how to do it with the numbers, how the mathematics can help, because numbers don't lie. People lie to themselves. I'll let you know that right now. And do remember, family, on today's Consciousness in the Conscious Community on February the 10th, we have the one, the only Phyllis Yvonne Stickney. Yeah, she's gonna come. She's gonna say what she mean and mean what she say when she comes on my show, because she goes back with me back 30 years. So, oh boy, I can't wait. And we're supposed to be having this brother on, the one that's going to be hosting the Kemetic Masters of the Martial Arts. Dr. Shaka supposed to be coming on. And then we're going to be having Nathan Ingram going to be coming on for the Deadly Arts of Survival magazine.com. And also we are expecting to have Brother Khalik come on for April. We're going to have Brother Khalik come on for the Day with the Masters. And of course, we're going to bring on our sister for the month of June. She's having a big seminar in Long Beach, California, and it's called Raw Life. And do remember, come on out to the comedy show. We're going to have a good time at this comedy. I'm going to be there. I don't know if I'm going to be there for both days, but I'm definitely going to be for one of those days. It might be the 28th or the 27th. I haven't decided. But Black Women in Concert, Laugh Fest, with the incomparable, fantastic woman, sister from New Jack City, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Comedy Awards, Up the Yin Yang, Malcolm X, Comic View. The sister's been a Showtime on the Apollo, and she's going to be with me on February 10th, but she's having a big comedy show at the Where the Funny Resides, 221 West 44th Street in New York, New York. Get your tickets. You got 4 shows, 9 and 11 p.m. both days, okay? So make sure you come out. Don't be surprised if you see Queen of Four out there enjoying her laughter. Don't be surprised. That might be my date. The Queen of Four. You know what I'm saying? I might bring Queen of Four with me. Let's go hang out, Queen. See if she want to come and laugh a little. You know, don't be surprised. Now, I'll tell you, Queen like enjoying herself, some comedy and laughing some little. So that would be fun. Be up front stage having some fun with her. Please join my membership. Make sure you join the membership. That's YouTube membership. Join now. And I got 2 levels. I got the $4.99 level and I got the $9.99 level. There is a difference. I'm letting you know that right now. $9.99 is my loyalty people. That's my loyal people. The $4.99 is the cool people on my membership. All right. That's the cool. They just cool with numbers. All right. And do take my course on udemy.com. That's udemy.com, and put in the word in the search engine, put in the word Numerovation, Numeroration. Numerovation. I'm the only one teaching numerovation. Everybody, if you put numerology, you're gonna see a whole bunch of people put numerology up in there. But if you put numerovation, your brother, get his books, get the books, get the books. If you want to support and advertise, come on, advertise your business. Make sure it's a reputable business and grow with me because I'm growing fast. Again, only quality people. I'm not 100,000 yet, but I will be. But I'm doing it organically for a reason. I've been on platforms with 100,000, 500,000, all that kind of stuff, but I'm doing it organically. I'm not doing anything else. Keeping it organic, keeping it positive, keeping it focused, and please share, like, and subscribe. If people want to book a session, again, tell them that, send them that also, text that to them also. And if you want people to do any studio work, my son got a great studio in Brooklyn, New York called Green Studio NYC. Him and Jason be doing a thing. They're the owners of it. And big up to Nicholas Brooklyn, the legendary Nicholas Brooklyn. They've been around for 50 plus years. Look out in March. I'm supposed to have Ashra Kwesi and Anthony T. Browder. I might see if I can bring them both day. It's the same day or that weekend, 2 days. One day, the next day. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that because I know they got things happening. And so I want to make sure. So that's going to be at Nicholas Brooklyn. And then make sure y'all support Lloyd Strayhorn. That's Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. That's Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. And coming up, mums. Y'all want to be a part of this movement, the Metaphysical Underground Music Social. We will have featured artists. We have a live band, DJ playing some great conscious stuff and keeping it conscious and clean. And we're going to have vendors. I'm going to have selected vendors that have very good presentations. People are going to be serving all kinds of stuff and making sure we're going to even have a speed dating night. So look out for that. We're going to do all of that monthly. It's not going to be every week, monthly. So it'll be at different locations. Every 3 months, it'll be a different location. So I'm looking for a location. After this cold thing goes by, I'll be meeting with some places. I'm meeting with some venues to make sure I have at least 3 different venues for the next 3 months, the next 9 months, because it's going 3 months in one, 3 months in the next one, 3 months in the next one. So we're going to do something that's going to be very innovative because I used to do these things, but I want to take it to another level with the metaphysics and make sure that we bring some music and all that kind of stuff. So I'm also looking for a good band, a house band in New York City. Looking for a house band in New York City so we can do what we got to do. And a regular band. I don't want to have change up. If I could get 2 good bands that can alternate certain months, beautiful. They know how to play everything, not just one thing. You got to be like a cruise ship band. That's what I'm looking like. I'm looking for a cruise ship band. So that know how to play everything. That's what I make people dance. That's what I want. So that's my spirit when it comes to bands, because I grew up with live music since I was a child. So let's make it happen. All right. So on that note, want to thank again. We want to thank our beautiful sister Leah Lee for coming on, and make sure you support her at birthfamilysearch.org. It's pinned to the top of the chat, birthfamilysearch.org. And if you have any adopted people that want to find out more about their family, beautiful. And remember, Dallas, I'm supposed to be coming out there for February the 14th, Dallas, Texas. EnterTruth.com. Go to that website, EnterTruth.com. Dallas, Texas on February the 14th. Myself, Courtney Kane Sides, and Roderick Martin, aka the Symbolizer, will be hosting it in Dallas, Texas. All right. Remember what Dr. B says, family, from elevationtime.com. That's elevationtime.com. I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection, and I am thankful for my life. And remember what Dr. Blair used to teach us back in the day. Please, Universal Creator, know in our hearts that we love you. Please protect us in this planet in which we live now. Please open up our minds, our spirit, and our soul to receive only truth in your love now. Remember, there is no truth until you decide what truth is. Stay focused, stay authentic to who you are and what you want to accomplish in this realm. And remember, your purpose is always in the mirror. Just look at your purpose. Look at your past of all the things that you've done that you used to love to do and turn that into something that's purposeful. Like I have turned what I've learned since I was young with the numbers and all of that. That's purposeful. Singing, I used to do that, was number 5 on the reggae chart. Purposeful. You got to change what you got to use what you love. Those are your purpose, family. That's what you love from your child. You might have to go and ask your mama or daddy, what did I used to love to do? What is it that I had fun doing when I was a child? And if it was something that you had fun doing when you was a child, then turn that into profit. That's your purpose. Find your purpose. Find your purpose. Thank you very much, Doctor. Dr. What? Lakeith? What's up, Dr. Lakeith? How you doing? Big up to everybody in here, Lamar Levy and everybody that came through, everybody on Facebook. I didn't do Instagram tonight, but big up to everybody that came on. Have a great day, afternoon, and evening. Be safe, be great. One love, aim, and destiny. Take care.